have they committed?
Trump?
Yeah, the ones in the Oval Office. What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
It's true. I'm at a protest, though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so you make a sign about people being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right, so
I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed.
I know. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sign. I'm just asking what crimes they have committed.
I don't have to list them to you. You can simply look it up.
Have you done research?
It's all over the media.
Yeah, so I was just asking him, he's holding the sign, if he could just tell me what crimes people in the Oval Office have committed. You're holding it, so I thought maybe you could give it to me quickly.
I'm good.
What do you make of the fact that he was democratically elected, even won the popular vote? How does that make him a king?
It doesn't make him a king. It makes him a president, not a king.
Well, this is called No Kings. So what does that mean to you?
It means we got to get rid of him. He's not a king. It's a democratic process, and we've gone that route with him. Now he's acted like a king.
Can you give me a specific example?
Specific example? Well, there's a million of them all put together. There's no one example. It's
Just one or two?
It's more than one or two.
No, can you give me one or two examples?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I can, I guess. I'm just in a loss of thought here on. There's a lot of things.
Okay.
I can't really.
Okay, well, thank you.
So what brings you out today?
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well, I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
Welcome, guys. We are back, okay? We are so back. Hickok's family is in the chat. Welcome. Yeah. And Gardening is in the chat. She was in earlier. Montana Deb, first time chatting. She says these people have no idea why they're protesting. It's laughable, but they defend the commies. You are right. So today, I planned on doing a stream covering the international push by the Trump administration to treat Antifa globally like the terrorist group that they are. And while I was prepping the stream, I heard, hey, we just bombed Iran as Trump was leaving the World Cup finals. I was like, okay, we need to talk about that first. So we're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about the situation with Antifa essentially being officially tagged as terrorists, not just in the United States, but globally. And then we're also going to be looking at Sonny Hostin. A very interesting body cam video was released. And you know the woman who keeps telling us how she's oppressed, how she isn't privileged, how Black people and brown-skinned people can't get ahead. Well, we're going to see how she essentially tries to use her influence to get her son off a trespass charge. So we're going to watch that as well. Hickok's family says, has anyone heard anything about Iran? I got word that Islamic occupational forces are moving tanks towards Kuwait, threatening invasion. Okay, guys, let's see if we can get into that. All right, we're going to see. Now, anyone in the chat who has any update on that, let's know what's going on. Now, here's the report from Fox News essentially announcing the bombing this evening. Breaking, President Trump just started bombing Iran mere moments after departing the World Cup. Let's watch this.
We're back with a Fox News alert on the Middle East. CENTCOM just announced a new wave of strikes against Iran began moments ago. That marks the 9th consecutive night of attacks against Iran. This follows the death of a 3rd U.S. service member and the death of 2 U.S. service members in Jordan who were killed during Iranian ballistic missile and drone strikes on U.S. assets. Unidentified remains were also found.
So Iran decides that they're going to bomb U.S. assets. And it's not new, guys. You and I know that Iran has been routinely doing this for years. Now, here's President Trump's comment on the situation. President Trump just walked away from the press after declaring he's refusing to ever let Iran obtain a nuclear weapon. Let's watch this. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go back to the actual statements. Sorry. Like I said, I was prepping for the show, a different topic, and then this came up. So so we're just going to go through this together.
Well, we feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very badly damaged. They've lost everything almost militarily. They've got very little left. They've got some missiles. They've got some drones. They've got some manufacturing ability, not much. We control the strait. They don't control anything. So we'll see what happens. But we hit them very hard again tonight. And we did that in honor of the probably 3. It's probably 3 as opposed to 2 great patriots.
All right, so Hickok's family says Iran messed up attacking a base that housed soldiers. Not even the fight, soldiers not even in the fight, killing 2 soldiers. Time to hit the delete button on those cowards. Collective consciousness is in the chat. All right, let's see. He said something about the Bible, and I don't know what collective consciousness is talking about, but dude, let's try and stay on topic. All right. At Restream, but Montana Deb is saying she agrees. Okay, so let me help you understand what's going on with the stream. We stream on 2 of my YouTube channels and then Kick, Twitch, and Rumble. And if someone posts something on one channel, the system is set up to automatically push the post to the rest of the platform. So the Restream bot is what does all of that. So if you send a reply to Restream bot, it's just the bot that does the distribution. So Montana Deb, thank you for that. I'm going to give you a second recognition. Collective Consciousness says, okay, sorry, but wanted others to see this. Okay, no problem. No problem. It's a community. You can let others see what you need them to see. Okay, and then they will acknowledge that they saw it. Now, I want us to take a look at what Hickox said about. I'm going to simply duplicate. I'm going to look into this while we're talking. Okay, so and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm rambling. I'm going to look into the report that the Islamic occupational forces are moving tanks towards Kuwait. So I'm simply going to quickly do a search on that. Now, guys, feel free to post your thoughts in the chat. Okay, we read the chat, we respond, and we try to get as much as we can out of the conversation. Now, hold on, I'm trying to see what else we have. So, this is an old video. So essentially, let's see. Yeah, so this is fresh. We're hearing bits and pieces of the report. I'm gonna check to see if Hickok says, yeah, I didn't mean to throw that out there, but I saw it as breaking news on another stream. No, it's fine. It's totally okay. All right, it's totally okay. Gardening is back in the chat, so it's totally okay. Okay, so it's tanks being moved. So let me just do a quick check. Okay, move to the Kuwait border. So so I could have decided to ignore this report and gone into the prepared story that I was working on. But guys, one of the things that I want us to be able to do. Okay, so let's see. Yes, so I'm going to share this tab. All right, so there are unconfirmed reports of Iranian tanks and military reinforcements being moved towards the Kuwait border area amid the ongoing U.S.-Iran conflict. Let me see the web page where the news report is coming from. This is old news. It's July 14th. So I think this troop or tank movement has been going on, but I think the current bombing is bubbling up the conversation to the surface. All right. So key takeaways of this report is that Iran has attacked at least 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz in the past 24 hours, and that is July 13th and 14th. The next Hezbollah. Okay, so let me read this through. Okay. Iran, which indicates that Iran retains the ability and willingness to attack commercial shipping despite recent U.S. strikes on Iran. U.S. Central Command announced on July 13th that it conducted another wave of attacks against Iranian military targets that Iran used to threaten shipping in the Strait. Iran responded to the U.S. attacks or U.S. strikes by attacking U.S. military bases across Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan on July 14th. I got this question from a member of my family, and they essentially said, hey, you know that Trump is a liar. And I said, this was a group call. It was a family call. And I told you that I have members of my family who don't like Trump. And so they said, you know that Trump is a liar. And one of my siblings said, how so? They said, hey, he says that Iran doesn't have the ability to fight, that their army is destroyed, their navy is destroyed, their air force is destroyed. And I'm like, no, their air force was destroyed. That's why you don't have any of their planes in the air. Their navy was destroyed. That's why you don't have any ships, attacking the aircraft carriers and so on. What you have is these cheap ballistic missiles being fired by Iran. And outlets like TDSBC continue to push this narrative that because Iran still retains the ability to manufacture these cheap rockets or ballistic missiles, that Trump is lying. That Trump is lying about destroying their military capability in the air and on the seas. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But this report, yes, is true. This report, yes, is true. I'm sorry, I was sharing the wrong tab. So this report is true, but it's an old report. All right, so let's see. Do we have anything else in the chat? Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hickok's family, do you mind if I talk about this? All right. So Hickok's family, you lost your family member. Your wife's cousin was killed in a motorcycle accident. My goodness. I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. There's a warrant out for the truck leaving the scene. Wow. That's awful. So sorry about that. Wow. It's crazy. All right, guys. So we're going to we're going to continue to keep our ears to the ground. There's a channel that Intergalactic Wrangler, who is in the chat. Okay, I feel awkward doing the applause thing. So Intergalactic Wrangler, I'm just going to leave it because we just got some bad news from Hickox. So you're in the chat. Thanks for showing up. Now there's a channel that Intergalactic Wrangler introduced us to a few weeks back, and essentially that channel is called the Enforcer channel. I think it's called the Enforcer, and what they do is they do these deep dives into troop movements and so on. I wish I had the kind of the talent that these guys have. They've been able to unpack troop movements, and if you're curious about what's going on in the war, I would like you to, after this live stream is done, you can head on over to their channel and take a look at what's going on, because they seem to have a handle on this story. All right, so let's pivot over to our girl Sonny Hostin. All right. Intergalactic Wrangler says Sunday night is the fundraiser night. Are you referring to the channel, to the Enforcer channel? Okay, so that means that. So does that mean that they wouldn't be covering this as a deep dive? Okay, just confirm that. Let's see. Hickok's family says collectively it is time to release the giant spiders. Well, let's see how that goes. Now, let's look at this story, because this unpacks what we've been talking about for a long time. Okay, rules for thee, not for me. Lie to the people who watch your show and hope they don't notice when you do stupid stuff like this. Now, Sonny Hostin. Now, I'm gonna just read this. Okay, Sonny Hostin from The View preaches about privilege. She talks about white privilege, how white people are above the law, how black people don't have any privilege. And then she's caught on camera exercising her privilege because she's paid millions of dollars by ABC. And then she's wealthy. She used to be a federal prosecutor. And then now she works on The View. And her son, who is, a Harvard graduate, committed a crime. So we're going to watch two clips, okay? So here's him, okay? Here's him essentially being apprehended by the police.
Sorry, you guys running from me? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, put your hands behind your back for a second.
Hey, what's going on? I'm on
put your hands.
Mom, by the way. Yeah, I got you. Hey, Mom. I'm walking by a train station and this cop is putting handcuffs on me. I got you. My mom's a lawyer, by the way.
That's okay. What's your name?
Real. What's your name, sir?
Nice to meet you. I'm Brian.
Brian, is that your badge number 2814?
Yes. So the reason we're stopping you, this is trespassing right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was open over there. I was just walking on a run there.
Where are you coming from? All the way over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm sorry. I just looked open for me, so I just walked in.
So this is considered trespassing. It's criminal trespass. The reason why it's such a big deal, people get hit by a train all the time. We want to prevent it, obviously.
Okay? Can you please...
you want me to hold it for you?
Yeah, my mom, the phone's at 2%, FYI. Here you go.
So this is considered trespassing. It's a big deal. We don't want people to get hit by a train, which is why we came running over, okay? Do you have any ID on you?
Yes.
Okay, where is it?
It's in my phone if you take off the case.
Tell them your mother is a federal prosecutor.
Yes.
Hey, Mom, how are you? This is Officer Gomez. Your son's fine, right?
Officer Gomez,
how are you?
This is
Yes.
former federal prosecutor.
Okay,
That's
fair
my
enough.
son.
Yeah.
He's a Harvard graduate.
Yeah.
So?
He's not a criminal. He has no criminal record, no criminal history.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I understand that. The issue is, like I told your son, this is considered criminal trespassing. So besides being illegal, it's actually very dangerous for him to be around the railroad tracks. We get people that get hit all the time. So we make this a big issue because it's a serious thing. People get hit.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you for protecting him.
No problem. Listen. We just have to do our due diligence here. Okay, your son is fine. I promise. You're on the line here. If we do have to hang up, I'll make sure that he gets to call you. So don't worry, okay? Everything's fine at this point.
But he's still under arrest.
Call her on your phone if my phone dies.
Absolutely, yeah, no problem. It's fine.
Are you arresting my son?
Yes.
At this point, listen, we're just going to do our due diligence. We're just going to check his background, and that's all we're going to do for now, okay? All right, we'll keep you informed of everything that goes on, all right? So that's pretty much it. He says...
Can you please keep me on the phone?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. So as of right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to hang up because he says his ID's on the phone.
If you just take up my case off, it's
okay.
actually right in the case.
Thank you.
No problem. Mom, if I hang up on you, just give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yes, it's right in there. Sorry to have you guys cash me here.
It's very, this is like a super busy train station.
And we don't need anyone getting hit by a train, okay? That's the last thing we want anyone to do, okay? I know this gate is open, but that's still trespassing, okay? This is Metro North property, all right? Even if you're on the phone, just, taking a walk. Trains are coming in and out of here all night long, and last thing I need for you to do is, be distracted.
So I can't wait to see what Sonny Hostin says about this encounter. Now, she shows up in person. This is a Harvard graduate. This boy is a Harvard graduate. What is mommy showing up at the scene to do? Anyway, so let's watch this, because the first thing she does is she opens up with, "I'm a federal prosecutor." But when was the last time she had a case? When was it? Is she still a federal prosecutor? She's essentially an entertainer now. So she tries to play that card to see if the police would say, "Oh my, you're a federal prosecutor. Oh my, so we're on the same team? Right, so I can let your son off for committing a crime." And then she says, "Well, he's a Harvard graduate. He's never committed a crime, but he just did." Now let's watch this and see what she has to say, because she got into her car, rushed over because maybe she thought that the police were about to lynch her son. Because these people essentially talk about this regularly on The View. Like, oh, there's lynchings. America is so unsafe. So if she literally believes everything she's been saying on The View, it's natural that she would react this way. So that means that these people they really do have a problem. So let's watch this.
Normally it's a misdemeanor charge. We're dumbing it down to a violation, okay? I know you're upset. We just do it as a deterrence because, again, like I explained to you on the phone, besides being illegal, which is far from the subject, it's dangerous.
My mom's a lawyer, by the way.
That's okay. What's your name?
What's your name, sir?
I'm Brian.
Brian, is that your badge number, 2814?
Yes. So the reason we're stopping you, this is trespassing right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was open over there. I was just walking on a run here.
Where are you coming from? All the way over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I saw. It just looked open for me, so I just walked in.
So this is considered trespassing. It's criminal trespass. Reason why it's such a big deal: people get hit by a train all the time.
So we've already watched all of this. I need to skip forward. Hold on.
Misdemeanor. Obviously, we're cutting it down to the violation. I'm going to be writing this on what's called an appearance ticket. I'm sure you know what that is. I'll explain everything, where he has to report all that stuff, because it is criminal trespass where he was. It's normally hold on for 1 second, miss. It's normally a misdemeanor. Obviously, we're cutting it down to the violation because there's nothing on his record. He's been very cooperative with us. But as of right now, we will have to issue him the appearance ticket.
Officer, is that really necessary? This is a kid that doesn't do anything. He's a Harvard graduate and a Yale researcher. He teaches geometry to and box.
I understand that.
Why would you put something on his record like this?
No, it's not anything criminal. He just has to appear. I'm dumbing it down to a violation.
It's a violation. It's not criminal.
So it's not a misdemeanor. It's just going back down. I'm writing him literally for the 140.05. It's a trespass violation. He would have to appear, which is an inconvenience. I understand that. But with all due respect, ma'am, I still have a job to do. And we have to deter people from being on the tracks.
Exactly.
Again,
I understand, but what I'm asking of you is once a judge gets this, all he would have to do is pay a fine anyway. There is a path.
What happens if you didn't do it?
What do you mean?
What happens if you're like, oh, I need to write this?
Seriously?
Well, we have cameras everywhere. If we didn't see you, somebody would have called it over.
Correct.
And
there was too many trains coming in and out of there to not.
Oh, and can I also add that Sonny Hostin and all her fans who were calling for police body cams have made it impossible for him to simply say, well, you can go now, because right now it's on record that they have his mom essentially trying to negotiate down the situation where they let him walk. Meanwhile, he did trespass. And there's a policy that they have to do this as a deterrent. All right.
I hate to say it, it's like my partner said, our hands are tied. It is what it is. Listen,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being cool about this, you know.
Well, I would say that he didn't do the crazy thing of screaming at the cops and insulting them and calling them racist. He didn't do that. Let's see, who was it that said that? Someone posted that. I think it was Intergalactic Wrangler said that. Okay, I'm going to read the chat, but Intergalactic Wrangler said something. Yeah, he said, sounds like a good kid. Just got to pay for your mistakes. Lots of reformed criminals do well. Okay, so he's been polite, right? He's been polite. He's been cordial, but essentially, Sonny Hostin is doing the thing that she claims that Black people can't do, which is essentially use the influence that you've built up through merit. Sonny Hostin got through law school, became a federal prosecutor, and so on. She's climbed up the ladder. The problem that we have with people like her going on shows and telling other Black people that the world is against them, that America is racist, is that they are the success story that other Black people should look up to, and their job should be to tell them, hey, you can do it too. Just stay in school, work hard, don't look for handouts. I mean, those are the kinds of messages you want from them. Whoopi Goldberg, she did okay as an actress. All right, she did well. She acted in movies that I enjoyed, so she did well. Her message should be, hey, if you work hard, if you grind, and you go through the system, you will become successful just like I was. I went through the system. It was hard, but I did it. Not to sit down and tell everyone that the United States is racist. So I'm going to read through the chat, and then we're going to transition over to the main story, which essentially is Antifa essentially getting internationally labeled as a terrorist organization. So I'm going to just read through the chat. Hold on. I'm going to go back because, all right. So Intergalactic Wrangler wants you to know the name of the channel is The Enforcer. All right. And they also cover the news as well. Now, Hickok says her son in a restricted section and expects her son to not get in trouble. If my son commits a crime and I'm talking with the police and I'm like, is there a way, like, usually, look, so here's the thing, okay. If you didn't raise your son properly and they went out there and committed a crime in the first place, it's on you to for not raising your son right. However, she did raise a son who's a Harvard graduate. She's doing some good things, fine. But he did trespass. So the cop has to do his job. Collective consciousness says The View is toxic, depraved ugliness. Most people don't like The View, okay? They aren't honest about their takes on the news, and most of it is all staged and is all put on. All of the women on The View have worked hard to get where they are. I'm not going to take it away from them, okay? Joy Behar has been in media for decades, all right? So she's paid her dues. Whoopi Goldberg paid her dues. Sonny Hostin paid her dues. My problem is, why don't you teach the next generation, the up and coming generation, how to pay their dues as well, and not tell them that America owes them something, or tell them that America is so racist that they will never get ahead. Sonny Hostin is a multi-millionaire. She sent her son to Harvard. Okay, like her family is taken care of. Why don't they spend that time teaching other Black families how to do the same? Do you know the answer to that? It's not sexy. It doesn't get clicks. It doesn't get views. And if you try to do that to most black communities, they will tell you that you're uppity, you're too white for them. You're not telling them what they want to hear. Let's see. Hickox says, I live in a town with the largest rail yard in the state. Nobody can just walk in. So the question now is, what is the story behind him being able to walk into the yard? That is the story. And maybe at some point we're going to find out, why that happened. Hickok says, I mean, you can, but the police would be called quick. People do stupid stuff. People do dumb stuff all the time. And protecting people from their stupid actions is part of what the police is meant to do. All right. And people would routinely, and honestly, there are people who intentionally go to the rail yards to hurt themselves. So it's fair that they would actually put up these things as a deterrent, because if someone gets hurt by trying to cross the rail yard could be sued. If someone gets hurt, by stumbling across the rail yard and gets hurt, the people that are connected to them will, would really be hurt by the entire thing, and they could sue. So it's something to watch. Montana says it's racist. Sonny is racist and entitled. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. All right. Montana also says it's also pretty lame that he called his mommy and lied. She is not a federal prosecutor. Yep. I called it too. Montana also says the cop is so nice. Montana also says he would be the first person to sue if he were injured by or near a train. I just said it. Like these are the kind of people that know that they can get away with that. If they got hurt in any way, a train is flying by, kicks up some gravel, it injures him or pops out his eye. Oh, that's it. He's taking the rail yard to court. You guys didn't protect you didn't lock or block the entrance, so I stepped in and I got hurt. Things like that have happened. Let's see. Gardening says, well, he is a good kid and doesn't have a record. Well, does that mean you have never gotten him off of anything else like you're trying to do here? Or he hasn't done anything? That is a fair point, Gardening. Okay, it's a fair point. Because I think this is her go-to conversation. And of course, he's maybe, from what I can see, maybe he's about 24, 25 years old. Maybe. All right. So police body cams became a thing maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. So who knows what's been happening before now, but we can only speculate. Let's see. Montana says she was like 15 years ago. And says they reduced the level. He will be fined, no felony, and she still complains. It's not a felony. So, guys, it is. Look, we're all saying the same thing. Like, this isn't a big deal, but she's. My question is this: why is she being so cage or protective of a grown man? This is a grown man. He still called his mom. Well, he was on the phone with his mommy. Maybe he called her when he saw the police running up to him, and then he dialed her, and then is like, "Oh, this is where I am." I think. Let's see. Let's see. Oh. There are real valid arguments to be had. He saw the gate was open but didn't see the sign. Like, they should have a gigantic no trespassing sign. Okay? Montana says, whoopee changed. Montana, I have a theory, all right? I have a theory, and it's worked for me so far. And that theory is that people don't change. People don't change. Influence and wealth simply reveal who they've always been. It does. So that's my take. I don't want to go further than that. Hickok says, I've had plenty of police interactions and never called my mother. Yeah, you have to deal with it yourself. Like if you put yourself in a position where you have to interact with the police and you're not a minor, why would you be calling your parents? You deal with it, sort it out. All right. Now you guys are amazing. But we need to jump over to the main story. Okay, the main story. Now, so Trump last year had a meeting where he essentially said he was going to designate Antifa as a terror organization. Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio had a conference where they spoke to a bunch of people from all over the world who essentially were on board with designating Antifa as a terror organization. Top Trump aide Stephen Miller announced Thursday that the Trump administration had officially declared left-wing violence as terrorism that needed to be stamped out. We're going to listen to the announcement, and then we're also going to do a look back at what the left have been saying about left-wing violence, because they try to tell us that it doesn't exist. So here's Stephen Miller making that announcement.
Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. President Trump issued a directive. In our parlance, it's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM. NSPM 7, to be exact, that directs, for the first time in American history, all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country. It's very important to understand that left-wing political terrorism seeks as its ultimate end the overthrow of our system and form of government.
Now, I'm going to keep playing this, but we all remember that during the Biden administration, that the FBI had a team that was charged with identifying right-wing terror organizations or organizations that were a threat to national security. And you had the Christian groups being included in those lists. That was happening under the Biden administration. In the weeks to come, you're going to see a lot of left-leaning outlets. Okay, I don't need, it's fine. Okay, I won't read your comments as much. I just love going into the comments, so I'm sorry if I went too far. So you're going to see a lot of left-leaning outlets that are going to jump out and say, this is where it starts. That is how the Nazis imprisoned their political opponents. They designated them as terrorists. What is Antifa doing? What have they been doing for years and they've gotten away with it? All right, so that's what we're talking about.
And we've seen this has taken place many times in many places throughout the years, and Secretary Rubio has provided you many examples. Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering. It only can travel in one direction. There's no point at which the left-wing terrorist is satisfied with his gains and ceases progressing. Inevitably, left to run its course, it always becomes a gulag. It always becomes the mass imprisonment of political enemies, the stripping of their rights and freedoms, inflicting immense pain, humiliation, suffering, in order to establish complete and total control. Control through psychological and physical and actual terror. And we have to understand that that is the scope and the extent of the threat that we face. And as Secretary Rubio also pointed out, this is an international network. Antifa, as an example, operates in dozens of countries all throughout the world. They share common networks of funding and organization.
All right, there you have it. Marco Rubio, Stephen Miller commenting, you know, it's quite a far cry from the Democrats telling us that Americans were the most dangerous thing, you know, that conservative, Christian, patriotic Americans were the most dangerous people to our republic.
I'm glad they pointed that out because it's very easy to forget that they did that.
Terrence?
No, absolutely. And I think some of the rhetoric that we heard from Marco Rubio was very interesting and poignant, talking about the fact that the left and some of these other groups are attacking civilization and that we've built such great things and that their focus is simply to tear down the great things that we've built. I thought the rhetoric was quite interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see what else comes out of this conference that's literally assembled people from around the world to discuss making our world better instead of tearing it down, David.
So that is Stephen Miller's take. Now, Marco Rubio added some more context to it. He says that Iran and Cuba have been funding Antifa because they despise the West. Rubio has accused Iran-linked networks and Cuba's intelligence apparatus of helping fuel violent far-left extremism, warning world leaders that political terrorism can no longer be ignored. World leaders in the West have largely been walking on eggshells because they don't want to be seen as suppressing free speech. The left has ridden the wave of protest being a part of or a factor of free speech. But sadly, what we've noticed is that organizations like Antifa and other far-left organizations have leveraged the U.S. Constitution to find the loopholes that they can ride in order to do the things that they've been doing. Now, here's what Marco Rubio essentially said in Do I Have His Speech? I Do. So here's what he did say during his speech.
And plots has risen to levels not seen in decades. In Germany, far-left violence has jumped by more than 40% in just the last year alone. In Greece, more than 80% of radical violence is now driven by far-left and anarchist actors. These are not abstract statistics. Americans have seen what those numbers mean. An all-out assault on our immigration officers, sniper attacks, explosives, armed ambushes, a transgender shooter opening fire on Catholic elementary school students as they pray, his gun marked with slogans like, "Where is your God now?" A healthcare executive executed in cold blood in the streets. Multiple assassination attempts on a sitting president, and the murder of the greatest conservative activist of a generation, a man who happened to also be a husband and the father of 2 young children, shot and killed while speaking to a crowd of students. This is a distinctive and unique evil. It has always been driven by a hatred, above all else, a hatred for civilization itself. It is a revolt of the worst against the best, a revolt of the weak and the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things, and take their revenge upon the world for their own inadequacy by seeking to destroy those who can. This is what radical leftism is. It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalist or anti-imperialist or communist or anarchist or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a poisonous resentment cloaked in the language of equality and justice and liberation, an overwhelming need to tear down what greater men have built, to wreck what is beautiful and what is right on behalf of people who are only filled with ugliness and have nothing else to offer the world. Through violence and through terror, they once again seek to impose their ugliness on all of us. The old dogma was wrong. The old dogma was wrong. None of this is driven by idealism. It is not utopian. In fact, it is the opposite. One of the criticisms you sometimes hear of communism, for example, is that it sounds good in theory, but it never works in practice. That's actually not true.
It works the way it's designed.
Communism does not sound good in theory. The world it envisions for all of us is small, flat, gray, leveled of all exception, drained of all that is good and noble in the human soul. The world it envisions is a world without courage, a world without creativity or ambition, a world without heroes or glory or great causes to strive towards, a world without miracles, without myths, without men who rise above the rest to do incredible and extraordinary things. And the world communism envisions is a world without God.
Yeah, and that's why they attack spirituality and the church. The first thing they go after is religion. They try to make sure that people don't have an anchor that they can, that they can latch onto, so what they're left with is to worship the state. Now, with all of this happening, it's great that it's happening. It's great that world leaders are gathering to talk about this insanity. However, one of the things that I can't help but notice is how the left told us repeatedly for years. Back in 2020, when Antifa was facilitating the destruction of cities, you had Democrats telling us that Antifa didn't exist. Okay, so this organization that is now being sanctioned or labeled a terrorist organization, they keep telling us it doesn't exist. Even a few months back, news outlets were telling us that President Trump going after Antifa is weird. Or does he want to go after anti-fascism? Does that prove he's a fascist? Those kinds of vapid arguments were being made on mainstream media. But you had Democrats like Cory Bush claiming that Antifa was essentially, not a bad group. In fact, she claimed that they helped during a certain activity she was involved in. All right, but let's listen to her own words. I'm going to hit play. Oops.
AI can turn your lights on.
Lights on.
I'm sorry for the ad. I'm going to mute this. So, Biden also claimed that Antifa didn't exist, and all of this was happening during 2020. They told us, hey, trust us, Antifa doesn't exist. Don't believe your lying eyes while you watch them line up, organize, and destroy your city. So let's watch this video.
Author Dana Lash joins me now to unwind the reluctance for Democrats to condemn violence. Hey, you know what, Dana? They don't like the Democrats either. They are left of most Democrats. So what's the problem? Why are they scared to condemn them?
Yeah, Brian, that's the million-dollar question. I don't know why they don't go near this topic. And I just thought, when Joe Biden was giving his inaugural address yesterday, and he got to the part where he was talking about white supremacy, I was wondering if that was like his way of referencing Antifa, considering the makeup of that violent group, and not a lot of reporting as to what they did in Portland. And I haven't heard him. You're right. I haven't heard him say anything about going after a state party's headquarters. This wasn't like some street team field office. This was the Oregon Democratic Party's headquarters that they went after. And I just thought that we would all maybe be on the same page of condemning violence, but they have such a hard time doing this, and I cannot figure out for the life of me why.
So Dana, 5 of the people that were arrested last night, we have their mugshots. They look like they're in their 20s. They're white. They're slight. I'm not sure how this pays, but I sense there's money behind them. Those are different. Yeah, those are some of the headshots too. There's a
Yeah, the group that doesn't exist, guys.
great many. There's cars turned over. There's things on fire. As soon as the sun goes down, they come out. So who's financing this? Why are these anarchists allowed to exist? What is their mission?
That's a good question. I don't know as to who's financing this. I mean, I know that there's a lot of speculation about this. I'm curious as to whether or not it's going to go past Portland, or is it not addressed by most media and Democrats because they think that it's going to be just like safely contained in Tupperware Fresh Portland and it's not ever going to get out, and as long as the crazy stays there, it's okay. And we've seen it kind of bleed over from Portland to other parts of the country. But I mean, that's just it. I don't know how these people eat. I don't know how they survive. I mean, do they work in shifts? Like, how do you take time off from your job for that long to go and bust up other people's businesses? I mean,
Well, now we know that that they're paid. We know that they're paid protesters. Guys, this was in January of 2021. This is when this news was being released. And we're finding out so much right now, but the question on most of our minds is, when is this going to stop?
we know they can't garden. I mean, we've seen the Chaz Chop thing, and they can't grow food. So I don't know what they're doing for money in order to go and sustain themselves. So I mean, what is behind this? Because it can't be zeal. At some point, you just tire out. You tire out, and the nation gets tired with you.
It's a job.
Think about this angle. The Capitol's already rebuilt and restored. The money goes in. The cleaning crews come in, and they come out. As horrific as January 6th is, it's almost back to normal. Minneapolis is not back to normal. Kenosha is not back to normal. No. Seattle has never been normal. I'm saying the people there that want to keep their delis open and their restaurants thriving, even in a pandemic, can't do it because the place has been destroyed. You know, in some of these cities, the owners have to pay to raise the building in order to get their businesses back, and they still got to pay rent and leases. So this is America. Yeah. We're focused on the capital of America, but most of the people that watch us are in these areas, in the Midwest and the Upper West.
And I'm glad that President Trump is responding to the Antifa problem. All right. Now I'm trying to get to the other reports very quickly. Now, so here's the bottom line. All right. President Trump has designated Antifa a terror organization. It's now a global push to stamp out left-wing violence, which they tell us doesn't exist. In fact, they try to tell us that right-wing violence is essentially the biggest problem. And of course, they quote these astroturfed statistics that don't make any sense. Meanwhile, you have these, so remember the North Texas Antifa cell that just got a combined 100-year sentence after they shot up a Texas ICE facility. All right. We were told they didn't exist, but there they are standing before a judge getting jailed for a combined period of 100 years. And of course, everyone is screaming, and everyone on the left is screaming and mewling about how this is, it's never been done before. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Hickox says, if you look up right-wing violence, the only thing that shows up is January 6th. But they want you to believe that there's other things that can be attributed to right-wing violence. And when you zoom into the so-called stats that they're quoting, it's all bogus. Or do you remember there's so many examples of these guys showing up and causing chaos, and we were told for a long time that they didn't exist. Now, the left is going to jump out and try to make it sound like, hey, President Trump is trying to chill. He's creating a chilling effect. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say he's trying to create a chilling effect, and he's trying to make sure that people don't speak up and speak out against the Trump administration. Now, what do you guys think? Because I think this is a step in the right direction. It is. is a step in the right direction. Now, I'm going to read the chat. If there's anything that that pivots from the chat, we're going to pick it up from there. Let's see. Hickok says the best videos to show how dangerous they are is the Summer of Love, and then when they were throwing chunks of concrete from the overpass onto ICE and police. Which I'm going to play that video. No, I'm not going to play that video. Do you know why? So you guys know that for a few days now, I've been playing the January 6th body cam videos. Did you know that YouTube has been started restricting those videos? Look, I don't know, like I'm trying very hard to make sure that the channel stays within the community guidelines, but I mean, it's just weird. You're watching something on a body cam video, there's no blood, there's no violence per se, but you still get restricted. So I'm going to pass on showing that particular video. But we all saw what happened last year with the rioters in California breaking up pavement and slinging pavement at passing vehicles that were being driven by ICE agents. All right. So yes, we all saw that happening. Intergalactic Wrangler says someone knows who is funding these guys. FBI will know, I'm sure. I'm sure that FBI knows, but it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And many of these people have very expensive lawyers, very expensive accountants, whose job it is to cover the paper trail. Even when you uncover the paper trail, you have to prove that that is what they are doing. All right. Let's see. Brother, I had an 8-hour stream pulled by YouTube because I talked about COVID. Had to wait until Trump got back to get it back. Are you serious? Hickok's family, looks like you're comfortable around, being on screen. Maybe you and I can talk about, talking about this if you're comfortable, we can, just talk about it or figure something out, because I like collaborating, and I do want to expand how these stories are presented. All right, 5-minute chat in an 8-hour stream. Really, 5 minutes. Look, it's frustrating, and I'll be very honest with you. Okay, it appears that these platforms are intentionally making it harder for conservatives to become influential. It's very intentional in my books. Now, I do have to be sure that I'm doing a good job of presenting you with quality programming, try to make it as entertaining as I can. I don't want to sit here and bellyache about how the algorithm is against me. If I suck, I deserve to not have views or an audience. All right. But a few of you kind of think that I deserve to be on YouTube. So the question is, are you guys lying to me? Okay, I'll go there first. Or is YouTube actually suppressing creators who don't toe a certain political line? All right. I've gone on Gemini. I've gone on Gemini, whenever I used to do research on Gemini, and I would try to get facts about a certain story that favored, let's say, the Trump administration. The response that I would get would be that Gemini didn't engage in political research. And I'm like, what on earth? But I would go over to ChatGPT, which is left-leaning, but I would get the results that I was looking for. Then I would go to Grok. Of course, I would get what I was looking for with, looking at both sides. And then, it became very clear that you're dealing with a very political ecosystem. Hickox. All right. So Hickox, here's the thing. Reach out to me. I'm going to, where is that where's that thing now? Sorry, I need to. It's been a while since I did this. Okay. Now you send me an email on this email on the screen, crossroadsirl@gmail.com. Let's talk. Let's talk, see what's what, and then, we can figure something out. I am honestly trying to make sure that we're able to tell you the truth. And you guys have watched me long enough to know that I try to be as truthful as possible. If I mess up on stream and I say something that isn't true, I try to walk it back immediately and actually give you guys the facts. So that's why I stick to playing videos, let the videos speak for themselves, then I do the commentary based on what the video says. There's this crazy video, and we're wrapping up. We're at the hour mark right now, and usually I would like to just end the live stream right away. But there's a video that I saw. Last week we talked about the documents that President Trump released, and right on cue, you had left-wing media, CNN, jumping out and saying how this was misinformation and so on. And I saw this video that was just insane. The video essentially was CNN, a panel on CNN, crying about the release of the files and saying, they were saying in essence that one of the researchers who was responsible for doing the research, essentially on camera, claimed that they didn't know what they were putting out. Now, gosh, my bookmarks are so loaded. I'm going to see if I can find it. If I can't, I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, but what they did was what they did with the Russia hoax, not the Russia hoax, the Very Fine People hoax, where they clipped out the speech that Trump gave and then made it sound like Trump was saying that they were very fine people and that he called neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. They did something similar during that report. All right, I think, no, this is a different one. Jeez. All right, okay, I'm going to check one more. If I can't find it, then maybe I'll line it up for tomorrow. I want to be very respectful of your time, and I don't want to keep you guys longer than I should. All right, so guys, we've covered these stories. Which of the stories was your favorite? Did you particularly enjoy the report on the Iran bombings for some reason? Or did you prefer the body cam video with Sonny Hostin? That was a conversation, like we did go all in on that conversation, and I think you guys enjoyed that conversation. Or did you basically like the fact that we were, well, look guys, the way I can tell that a story is fun for you guys is the chat. And from everything that I've seen in the chat, I'm going to say that the Sonny Hostin story was the one that got the most engagement in this live stream. I got more chats about that story than any other story from tonight. All right, so would you guys say, aha, so Gardner says Sonny Hostin, loved seeing it. So every night, whenever I do these stories, it's me, or every day. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be live at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so Sundays are the only days, are the only days when we stream at night. Okay, we're opening the week, stream at night, but the rest of the week, Monday all the way to Friday, is 10 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow morning. And every time I stream and I look at the stories that you guys are excited about, it sends me a signal that this is what you want me to do more of. I'm being honest. And I want to do more of the things that get you guys talking. Now, if I see that what gets you guys talking is going to demonetize my channel, I'm going to let you guys know, hey, we can't do more of this. It's going to get my channel demonetized. Okay, so I'm going to be very upfront with you guys and let you guys know how the channel is leaning, and you guys need to tell me in all honesty what works for you. Hickox, I've put up the email address. I hope you saw it. You can send me an email. Let's chat. Let's talk. And then we'll see, what we can work on together. I want to be able to collaborate with the chat, and that's why whenever you guys post stuff, I read it out. Okay, I want you guys to be part of the show. And as many of you, all right, email sent, amazing, thanks. I'm going to take a look at it. As many of you as can contribute to the show, and in some cases even be a part of the show. All right, I have a call-in feature set up. Okay. I have an update I'll give right after that. I have the call-in feature where we can actually have people call in and give their thoughts. Like, we can literally turn these things on because I want people to have a voice on the show. All right. So that's what I really want us to be able to do eventually. So it's still a small show, small channel. On the main channel, we have over 12,000 subscribers. But many of those subscribers want shorter videos. They want videos that are about 5 minutes long. So when they see the live streams, they don't want to click to watch the live streams. We have over 1,600 subscribers on the live stream channel. But whenever we go live, we don't have 13,000 people joining the live stream. Okay, I wish that was what we would experience, based on the subscription numbers, but everyone has the same challenge. We have channels with 2 million subscribers, and when they go live, they only see a couple of thousand. So that's the scale that a lot of channels get to work with. So I would like you guys to please consider being a part of it. If you don't want to call in or be on the show, to just talk and discuss these, you can be a contributor. You can send in stories and say, hey, I saw this story. For example, the Sonny Hostin story, gardening was the one who turned me on to the story. She's like, hey, did you see this? And meanwhile, yesterday was my wedding anniversary, 17th wedding anniversary. So yesterday, I was literally, now my wife didn't say this, but I was essentially, I wasn't supposed to be looking at my phone or anything. So I didn't see the Sonny Hostin story. So gardening sends me a message, which I see later in the day. And I'm like, whoa, we're going to do this tomorrow, and she sent that in, and I appreciate that. So I spent the day trying to kind of, be a good husband. I don't know how to celebrate these things. It frustrates my wife. I don't know how to celebrate my own birthday. Sometimes I forget my own birthday, but I tried. So we spent the day, we tried to do a walk in the morning, but I felt that the sun was too scalding. So I told her I'm not going out there. Then I turned on a movie, started with, what movies did we watch yesterday? Friday night, I watched Man of Steel with the kids. Then on Saturday, I went on to Batman v Superman. And then my wife got into the mix and said, hey, is there a third part? And I said, okay, there's the Justice League Snyder cut. Okay, the Joss Whedon cut is not Justice League. I got them to watch the Snyder cut. That was what we did for our anniversary. Then I went out and used a bunch of, I went out with my youngest and my daughter. We went out to get some McDonald's and some other, stuff to drink. I stopped over at Starbucks to get my wife and I, some drinks, and then got back home, finished up the Snyder Cut movie, and that was essentially it for my anniversary. She's like, my wife likes to dance. I don't know how to dance, so I don't like to dance very much. But so that was my anniversary. But thanks, guys, for wishing me happy anniversary. Thank you, Intergalactic Wrangler, for that. Thank you, Hickox, for that, and thank you, Gardening. Now, so I want to say a special thank you to Intergalactic Wrangler, even though most of you have been very have been very thoughtful and helpful. But Intergalactic Wrangler sent a donation last week. I'm not going to say how much towards my computer, and I'm like, thank you. We'll see how that helps. So on Friday, remember the live stream on Friday went sideways, like it was horrible. And I said to myself, I have to figure out what's up with the computer. So on Friday after the stream, I did some digging and I found out that I showed you guys the hard drive that I needed to switch out. Okay, so I went to the store, bought a cable that I needed to use to make the thing, and then after a couple of hours, switched out the hard drive and so on. And now the computer is working great. So Intergalactic Wrangler, thank you for that donation. I just want to say thank you because seeing your support kind of encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing, and seeing that you guys are willing to stick around and bear with all of the insanity encourages me to work harder to make sure that we stay, we keep streaming. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you to all of you. All right, all of you that continue to support, all of you that continue to contribute, all of you that continue to chat. Hickox, Gardening, Intergalactic Wrangler, Deb, Montana. She had to leave, or he had to leave. I don't know if it was he or she, and even. What's his name? I'm sorry, I'm scrolling up. Collective Consciousness. Okay, all of you, thank you for all of the support. Hickox Family says, I know how that is. My wife built my setup, so I got a 4K setup for about. Wow, your wife built your setup. Dude, you must be having fun. I do all the work myself. All right. So I try to get my wife into streaming, into knowing what's going on. It's not taking. So it's great when you have someone who actually knows the language and knows how to work with you on that. So that must be fun. Yeah, my wife's passion is the kids. And that's great. So she gets to do all of that. And I'm happy that she is who she is. All right. So guys, let's see. Yeah, so Gardening says she turned me on to the Sonny Hostin video and even waited to watch it with us. Okay, guys. Again, thank you for your support. I'm going to have to close here. I'm going to try to make the live streams under an hour. And if I can get it down to an hour, it's almost possible that I might be able to do live streams, 2 live streams a day. I might. If I can hold it down to less than an hour, I might be able to get in 2 live streams a day. But I'm saying that, please don't hold me to it. All right, don't hold me to it. I'm just saying. But I love hanging out with you guys. You guys, I said goodbye a while back. It's 13 minutes after the hour. I'm still here because I love talking to you guys. But guys, we're going to be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to look at what's going on in Iran. We're going to take a look at a few other things. And then maybe we're going to continue to search for the insurrection. We're going to look for the insurrection. I want to make sure that I give you guys the greatest experiences. So I hope you guys come around tomorrow and then we will hang out. So guys, until tomorrow, bye. God bless you. And I'll catch you on the